Good afternoon, folks. It's my pleasure to be here today talking to you, though virtually. Hope you are all doing good, staying safe and healthy. We are definitely living in unusual times. The pandemic continues to have an impact on both lives and livelihood. Having said that, it's also a catalyst for change, both economic and societal. The scale of change and the speed of change has been unprecedented. This has forced us to reimagine as leaders and enterprises who we are and the impact we want to create. The other thing with this pandemic has clearly demonstrated is how critical technology is in our lives. Technology has helped us in dealing with the pandemic, enabling work from home, online learning. E-commerce adoption has gone through the roof. Today, everything is digital. So what does this mean from an SME perspective? The SME sector is the backbone of the economy. Debjani also talked about it. Today, it contributes close to 50% of India's produce, about 48% of India's export, and employs over 100 million people. Unfortunately, this sector has been majorly impacted by the pandemic, given the economic uncertainty, falling demand, supply chain disruptions, inventory shortages, short-term challenges around liquidity and inadequate access to capital. While the current pandemic situation seems to be coming under control, there is also positive news about virus. But as Devjani also pointed out, we are really talking about vaccinating 1 billion people in India or about 7 billion people globally. The efficacy of vaccine is still not known and so on. So my own sense is it will take at least another 18, 24 months before everyone will possibly get vaccinated and world will be a safer place. So as such, we have to learn to live with this situation for the next 18, 24 months. So what this means is it's very critical from an SME perspective to focus on few imperatives, which will not only help them in navigating through this crisis, but also help them be ready and adapt to some of the opportunities that are out there or which will emerge in the post-pandemic world. The first one is imperative is about reimagining the business blueprints. Today, we have seen how consumer and employee behavior have changed during the pandemic. Many of these changes are likely to remain permanent. And some of the business model shifts that we have seen are also irreversible. It's therefore important for every entity to adapt to the new realities on the ground, relook at their plans, strategies, and priorities going forward. So that's going to be very critical. That is the first imperative. The second imperative is about resilience. Every organization needs to embed resilience in all aspects of its business. It could be its go-to-market approach. It could be its operations. It could be its critical infrastructure. Failure in any one will have an impact on the business ability to survive and thrive. So that's the second imperative. The third imperative is about embracing digital. It's important for every organization and SMEs to embrace digital and accelerate the digitalization journey. It's important to establish virtual connects with all the stakeholders, strengthen the online presence, and also increase engagement in the social channel. This is going to be very critical going forward. This will not only help in navigating through the rest of the crisis, but it will also help you become future ready if such a situation occurs in future. Traditionally, when people talk about digital, they have looked at it primarily from an efficiency or a cost-saving lens, or probably from an experience lens. But it's important to realize that digital technologies can also help in business transformation. So please make sure that you leverage and try to see how best you can transform and create a competitive advantage for yourself during this crisis. The fourth aspect is about sustainability. Today, there is a lot of focus on employee welfare, safety, mental wealth, and healthness, and other things, which is right so. But very soon, the environment aspects of it will come back into the agenda. As today, climate change is perhaps the biggest business risk our environment, our planet faces today, and all businesses face today. So very soon, you will get back to dealing with environmental and sustainability issues going forward. So even as you reimagine and tweak your business models to deal with the pandemic, it's important to embed sustainability and environment practices and principles into the blueprint. It's going to be very critical going forward. You should focus on reducing per capita energy consumption, per capita water consumption through use of smart technologies. This will also help in bringing down your operational costs dramatically. The last aspect you need to focus on in these times is around learning. Today, in future, workplace will be a combination of people and machines. People will be the creative problem finders, whereas machine will be the problem solvers. And in fact, one of the World Economic Forum survey talked about how machines and algorithms in the workplace will create 133 million new jobs by 2022. But at the same time, it will displace 75 million jobs. So it's all about learning, reskilling. So every organization or every entity needs to relook and reimagine both the how and what of learning and capability build so that your workforce is future ready. So these are some of the critical imperatives that SMEs in particular needs to watch out for you to navigate through this crisis and emerge stronger and also take advantage of some of the emergent opportunities. At the same time, it is not all gloom and doom. There are, I mean, while we have talked about challenges, there are definitely a lot of opportunities as well. Uh, Earlier, I talked about how critical technology has been in dealing with the COVID. Technology will continue to play a key role in the post-COVID world as well. Uh, In fact, even prior to COVID, we have seen secular disruptions, the new business models, and so on in the past, driven by some of the imperatives like rise of cloud, consumerization of enterprise, evolving open source ecosystem, democratization of AI and algorithms, cybersecurity landscape, and so on. The pandemic will only help accelerate the technology disruption. So technology will be at the core of the new normal, enabling enterprises to deal with the changing expectation of consumer and businesses, and at the same time, bringing about dramatic improvement in agility and efficiency of operations of these enterprises. So we'll see massive embrace of digital in the next 24 months. Digital pilots and initiatives will move into full-fledged implementations. So some of the opportunities or some of the technologies we are talking about are acceleration of existing trends. I mean, these are around these are around contactless payments. These are around chatbots. These are around industrial automation, and so on. Whereas some of the other technologies like 3D printing, augmented reality, virtual reality, or teleconsultation, while they existed in the past, their adoption was very limited. But in the pandemic, we have seen many, many useful use cases using these technologies, and you will start seeing massive adoption of these newer technologies, as well as many, many interesting use cases. There are also opportunities for using technology to address some of the challenges that India faces today. As you are aware, India has a lot of challenges around high supply chain costs, inadequate healthcare infrastructure, middleman inefficiencies, inadequate or access to banking and finance, and so on. So technology can play a huge role in terms of bringing about both economic and social development for India. And these cut across multiple sectors. For example, if you look at healthcare, we have seen how inadequate our healthcare infrastructure is in dealing with the pandemic. So there is an opportunity to use technology to bring about dramatic improvement in healthcare, increase the access, increase the quality of healthcare, and as well as the cost of healthcare. Likewise, agriculture is another example I can think about. Today, more than 40% of population work in agriculture, but it contributes only 20% to the GDP. There is a huge opportunity to once again leverage technologies like cloud, big data, analytics, IoT, etc., to increase the yield of agriculture by providing real-time insights to farmers through digital farming, precision agriculture, and so on. Similarly, one can transition uh, a movement into clean and green energy by embracing smart grids, big data, cloud, and analytics, and so on. So similarly, there are a lot of opportunities in other sectors as well. So net, the point I'm making is, while there are challenges, there are a lot of opportunities as well going forward. So I have already seen there are many examples during the pandemic where some of the enterprises, including SMEs, have been quickly on their feet, been able to pivot their business model, quickly adapt to the changing situation, come up with new offerings to take advantage of it. I mean, there is an adage, right? Never let a crisis go waste. And I've seen many companies take advantage of it. And my own view is the opportunity is huge for each one of you to take advantage. All it means is to make sure that you focus on your building resilience, focus on some of the imperatives I talked about, so that you are ready and take advantage and in a very agile and quick manner. Uh, Lastly, also, I just wanted to give a data point. Many of the tech unicorns that we have seen today, like Uber, Airbnb, WhatsApp, etc., they were born during the last crisis we faced. That was during the 2008 economic financial crisis that we had. So I'm very positive that as we go through this crisis and emerge out of it, we will find many new unicorns as well, taking advantages of some of the opportunities that have emerged out of this crisis. Lastly, again, as Debjani also and Anuman also talked about, just wanted to reiterate the commitment of NASSCOM to the SME community. We are definitely committed to help you in navigating through this crisis, be future ready to take advantage of it. You are an important cog in India's economic wheel, and it's very important for us that each one of you succeed. Over the years, last couple of years, NASSCOM has conducted many programs towards this. We have had programs around sales organization development, CIO Connect, leadership and mentoring initiatives, facilitating market access, both domestic and international. There has been a lot of awareness around digital transformation, IoT, and so on. These efforts will continue as well. So I just want to end my talk by talking about the opportunities in front of us is huge, while there are challenges. And some of the changes that we are seeing is irreversible. It's important for us to embrace and move forward. And given how far we are moving into the digital world, it is highly unlikely we'll move back to fully into the old brick and mortar world. A lot of learnings. We need to build on these learnings and focus on staying resilient and invest in building capabilities so that we can take advantages of the opportunities out there. So thank you very much. Good luck. Thanks for participating in this event and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.